Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at filtering. Now, filter is a very helpful way to bring your data, especially in a larger data set, and filter it down into a specific type of condition. This is similar to the last lesson where we are using the array formula on data table. I did adjust this so that we don't have to worry with the header row getting into the way or getting filtered. Let's go to the data table. Here you actually do have options directly built in to filter a comment. So if you're just doing this like one time, you can of course just select what you want, filter it down, and call it good. If you need to clear it, you can clear the filtering, select all, and there we are. Alternatively, if it's not in the structured table format, is you can highlight the entire data set, go to data, and then you can remove a filter, create a filter, and so on. Going back to this is again especially useful if your data set is living or growing. I didn't show it in the last one, but I'll go ahead and show it here in case a new person is added to the data table, how the filter will dynamically include them and continue to have that grow based off of whatever condition. So here, we're going to start with filter. The range is going to then be this. Again, normally it would be like A2 through B or H or whatever, and that would be the range. But in this case, it is the data table. The conditions, it's going to kind of be different. And I'm using the structured data tables because that is kind of more the avenue this is growing to. If you are using it regularly, the biggest thing to make sure that you do is that the rows have to match. What I mean by that is, in this example, A2 through B26. So each of these have to be 2 through 26. Again, make sure that those rows all equal and all match. If they don't, you're going to get a ref error, and we'll show what that looks like and how to troubleshoot it as well. But again, however you're using it, make sure the range do match. Now, in this example, you might have noticed too, this one actually was able to filter based on another column that wasn't in it. And that is something you can do. You can filter a certain condition without including that. And we can show some examples too as we build this a little bit. Finally, you can have multiple conditions. It's repeatable, so you can really have as many conditions as you want. In this, the first condition is required, and anything else, it's entirely up to you. So let's say for this one that we want to use the data table and we want the department to be a specific department. So the first condition can be data table. Let's go to department. And you can see here the range will be G3 through G102. And in that, the condition can be something like equals IT. Hit enter, and now all of these are IT. As I mentioned earlier, let's say that your original table was all. You can see here that this range is B2 through H12, rather than these emails and things are H3. So if you do something like that with all, hit enter, you can see NA. If you look in, it has a mismatched row. And so that's what I was talking about with potential errors. Now, if you did have it with all and you actually wanted to use it to include that top row, you can actually add this all into this one. It takes a little bit more, and I do have a video that better breaks this down, but essentially in this, what you would have to do is have this data table and then include hashtag all, close that off, have departments, and then put one more bracket so that these close. You also need a comma between the two just to show that these are the rows you want and this is the column or columns you want. Hit enter, and now we have that. Now we get to the same issue that we had earlier where when you use filter, it is also filtering the top row, meaning the department is not IT, so it's not showing that. Alternatively, if you do department, hit enter, there's where the department is, but it's getting filtered because the department does not equal IT. So kind of a lot of work just to not. Generally with sort and filter, you'll just want to put a static copy of what the topmost row is and then have this below as the formula. I'm just going to bring this back to the data table. I'm going to remove this part so it's just the department, and there we go. We might want some additional components. Like maybe we want the salary to be over $100,000 or less than, to see who's the most, highest paid or paid above $100,000 in this department. This is the first condition. We can copy this condition or maybe just create our own data table. Let's do salary. And then since this is a number, you can say greater than 100,000. Now this, you would keep it without commas. If you do that, then it thinks it's another argument. So just keep that in mind. But again, this doesn't need to be in quotation marks because this is formatted as a number. Hit enter, and now that is filtered even more so, where it is only the highest salaries in IT. You might even want something else. Maybe you want this to be a different department, or maybe no department, just who has the most in all of them. Other things you can do with this as well that I've found is helpful, especially with making like dashboards or reports, things like that. Maybe you need something where you're trying to find all the salaries above that for each department. You can always hard code it, and then like this, where it's IT and then know the departments and switch departments. You can also use this as a range. So instead of this being equal to literally IT, you could have it be J2. Hit enter and it'll be NA because this is a blank. But then if you put IT here, we get IT. What you could do is then you have a drop down right here. Insert, drop down from a range, go to the data table, and then the departments. Let's just do departments from 3 down. Hit done and go back to the filtering. Now you can use this and switch, and it'll conditionally filter based off of this right here. That is a very helpful thing. Same for maybe you want the salary to be in a range too. So then you can make a new one here. And again, this is saying that it is greater than. So if there's nothing on there, it'll just be anything. Let's say that we go up to 80,000. There will be a few that get removed, but there's still some above it. 90,000, less, and then maybe you do something like 120,000. Hit enter, there's only one. Filtering is a great way to pull specific data, especially if you have a table that is consistently being updated. You don't have to worry about like sorting it or filtering it and then causing issues for others, because this is working on its own different sheet. The other part of doing this is that, let's say you have more people added to customer service. Go to the data tab. I'm just going to go control down to get to the bottom. And let's say we have a new name, and then 101. This one is in HR. And then let's say, just so we can really see it, lots of money. Let's go to filter. Let's move over to HR. Now we can see that new name is here. Like I said, it's very useful for things to be able to, one, dynamically update, and even if you want, you could add another layer to this. Right now, it is just organized by person ID based off of what the data table is. But you can also use sort around this, and you'd use this entire filter as the range. Sort column, let's say that we want it to be salary. I believe that is 7. And then false, which will bring the lowest to the top. Now we have that new name at the top, making the most salary. You can also adjust this to show who is over 100,000, and that allows you to really hone in your data to a specific group. There's a lot more that you can do with this, but creating dynamic reports like this is huge, and filter and sort play very well together. Hopefully you find this helpful. Thanks for watching. Do those YouTube things like share, subscribe, leave a comment if you have questions or want to know something and more about this. And thank you. See you in the next one. Bye now.